Yes, people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Blues TV. I hope you guys are doing well today. Um, so sorry to be late. We're supposed to start at 3 o'clock, but unfortunately, due to some reasons, we couldn't make it at 3 o'clock. So, welcome back to the channel. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button, like, and as well share the video. Today, I'm here with Joseph. We will be talking about the match review tomorrow against Nottingham Forest. Joseph, what are you thinking? I know it's a mixed feelings around, Chelsea fan this week, having seen Spurs winning the Europa League, and we're still stuck in it. Like, we don't know what the direction is at the moment, Joseph. So let's hear from you. What's the feelings like at the moment?
Now, first off, I disagree with you reference to Spurs. Spurs is not our yardstick. We're not worried about Spurs. We're actually happy for them that they won something. They deserve to win something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
This season, Mother Nature has been generous. Everybody's winning something for the first time. Newcastle have
yeah,
won since
yeah,
70s. They
hmm
won Crystal Palace. So it's only appropriate that Spurs won. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But that's just a side issue. Tomorrow, I don't know how the game is going to pan out, but one thing I know for sure is we're going to make that Champions League. The top five, we're going to be in there come evening time after Premiership has been rounded off.
Joseph, you looks to have so much confidence. The way you just spoke right now. For me, I've been kind of being on a low key because honestly, I can't really see us. I don't know. I can't really see us doing something special tomorrow. To be honest, I just hope that something positive happen. But realistically, if I had to look at, uh, performance in last 2 months, last 3 months, I will tell you that there's no way tomorrow we're gonna make it.
I think we're gonna make it because if you've looked at it as well, performance been wishy-washy. Sometimes we good, sometimes we bad. But if you look at the body language and the whole team's persona in the last couple of games, they're all united, and that's all that matters. You could see they really wanted it because against Man United, that's how I have a funny feeling that we're gonna make it tomorrow. The game was really tight. You didn't know where a goal was gonna come from, and all of a sudden, Captain Marvelous Reece James down that spin, and
Yeah,
then Kurela comes up trumps again. So
yeah.
I know definitely on paper, Nottingham Forest, I mean, that is their ground is a very hostile ground. They're good and whatnot. But I think they're not gonna be us tomorrow. I think the boys are gonna make that Champions League slot. I have that funny feeling we're gonna make it. I don't know how, but we're gonna make it.
Yeah.
We're not gonna lose that game. Our worst performance is gonna be a draw. That's what I feel.
But
But
if we, yeah, but if
we
we
can
draw,
punish them with the early goal. Because the boys want it. The boys want to play Champions League as well.
yeah, of
And
course,
especially
of course,
like you mentioned the Spurs factor.
yeah,
Spurs are people that we poke fun at. So all of a sudden now Spurs is in Champions League and
yeah.
we playing Europa. That's not on. So definitely all those things will motivate us. And I think tomorrow we will surprise people and come up trumps.
Like you said, City ground is one of the toughest ground this season. To be honest, it's difficult for, a lot of big teams to go down there and get a result. But like you said, when you look at the past record against Forest, I think the last 5 games against Forest, it was so difficult. We managed to win one, they managed to win one, and we draw three. Do you think history is gonna repeat itself? Because when you look at the way Premier League works, sometimes it works with history. The players, I don't know if that's something that the team personally look into, like, oh guys, let's look into the past games we've had with these guys, and let's make it a kind of a tough game. To me, I'm seeing tomorrow as, because I don't know how we're gonna start that game tomorrow if we mess around and concede two early goals. Because remember, Forest can be so funny. They can score 2 goals in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? They can score 2 goals in 5 minutes. They've got that massive, massive attack. When you talk about Langa, talking about Austin Odo, all these guys are fit to play tomorrow. Chris Wood is there as well, and like our defense has not been the best this season. So these are something that me personally I'm looking into, and I'm so much skeptical about the game tomorrow. To be honest.
Well, you have every right to be, and then also there are some positives as well that you can take. Because yes, you mentioned also Ilanga and that, but I don't think Dr. Caicedo and Pedro Neto and stuff like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
We match them boot for boot. The only advantage they have is the hostile atmosphere and they playing
yeah,
at home. That's about it. But sometimes it doesn't matter because the boys are determined. They know what's at stake. They want to play Champions League because people like Noni Madueke and stuff, they got big egos. They don't want to
yeah,
be playing. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I have a funny feeling they'll be in for a surprise. If they think because of their ground, they're gonna, how do we call it? Just steamrollers, they're gonna have something else coming. And Reece James been excellent in the
yeah,
past couple of games, you know what I
yeah.
mean? And it's only the striking issue. Obviously, Nicholas Jackson is suspended, but I heard Nkunku and Giu are ready to step in. Or maybe we could play with a false nine. But whichever way, I think we will come out with a result. I
Yeah, like you said, the main point I'm still holding on is, talking about Jackson. I think at the end of the day, I wish and I hope it's not gonna bounce back on him, because if we struggle tomorrow and we were unable to score goals and we saw that game virtually that we lack a striker, I think Jackson is going to be responsible tomorrow, because I don't see any reason why he has to take on that red card. You know what I mean? It's of two feelings, We lost that game and we lost him for the rest of the two games, and I'm telling you, to me, I felt like the Newcastle game was supposed to be that game that we should have sealed. We should have get a draw from Newcastle, and by now we will just feel like, okay, maybe tomorrow we can get a draw. Probably if Aston Villa manage to draw their game or something. But yeah, like you said, I think Jackson is one of the key players that will probably tomorrow make the headlines. But I hope everything went well tomorrow. But if not, I think Jackson is gonna be one of the players that's gonna make headline tomorrow, because it's not gonna be funny. Everyone is gonna be coming out for him that you should have, let go of this red card. Maybe we will have get a win or a draw from Newcastle, or probably we can have you for these other two games, and yeah, we can qualify.
Yeah, I get you, but the bottom line with Jackson is he's been inconsistent. So the Newcastle red card just underlines that we need a consistent striker. We need a prolific goal scorer,
Yeah,
and then Jackson can support him. I mean, play as a supporting cast. But if he is our main striker because of
yeah,
his disciplinary issues and the fact that he fluff his lines in front of goal, those things are not recipe for you know, winning the league and then, i.e., Champions League slots and things of that nature. So what it is we need a prolific goal scorer next season, and then Jackson could be how do we call it, a good addition as well. But if everything falls on Jackson, then we in for trouble because he's not up to scratch. Do you get where I'm coming from?
yeah,
Yeah. But the red card, it was just a rash decision. So I can't blame him too much for the red card. Do you know what I mean? He
yeah.
just wanted to win, and the guy, him and him had a little bit of aji baji prior. So, it was the heat of the moment. It can happen to anybody. So that one, I'll cut him some slack. But the bottom line is we need to go and recruit a prolific striker moving forward.
Yeah, like, I mean, we've been kind of looking at the positive side, but let's be realistic. Let's come on to talk about the realistic. What's gonna be our fate tomorrow if we didn't cross the line to go into the Champions League? How is the feeling? What do you think? What do you think is gonna be the reaction of the fans? To be honest.
It's not obviously we'll be disappointed. That's why I think the fans they will be obviously disappointed. But based on our current track record, we haven't been the Chelsea of old. We now getting gradually coming to the boil. So we used to our standards of late. So it won't be too much of a surprise, considering that the last game is at Nottingham. The only thing is we disappointed the fact that we let things lay. By now we should have sealed that top four
Yeah,
because at the start of the season we're playing well and all of a sudden we fell short. So that's where we'll be disappointed if we don't make it tomorrow. But at least I don't think that will be the case, but if worst case scenario, if that happens, it's not the end of the world. We've got a Club World Cup to look forward to, which is an elite competition. We in
yeah,
and we got a Europa to play. And if we do win the European Conference League, then we will be the only club in Europe to have amassed all the European trophies. So that won't be a bad thing. But hopefully, let's pray that things go in our favor tomorrow. But I think we'll make it.
Yeah, because like you've said, Nottingham Forest, they've been having a bad run. One win in 5 games, and Chelsea has won 4 games in 5 Premier League games. So I think, to me, we just need to take that advantage. To be honest, we need to take that advantage. We've beaten, Liverpool. We've beaten United. This is a massive boost for us. To go into that game and just get a win, even if it's I mean, a goal to nil or something. Just make this thing happen, guys. We need to be back in the Champions League. I mean, 2 years, or I think, yeah, 2 years now, we've not been in the Champions League. If we can, go back into the Champions League this season, this is going to be a massive boost. I mean, a lot of things are going to go in our favor, and we can look up to, next season and say, yes, we are back into the Champions League, and we can build from there. That's what I think, that we need to go into that game tomorrow. I mean, just to get everything out. Nothing but a win. Nothing but a win, because you can't rely on Manchester United. We know they are still grieving from the loss from sports, but that might not solve their problem tomorrow. You know, that might not solve their problem tomorrow. So I don't know what you think. Do you think United can save us tomorrow, even if we've got maybe probably lapses, or we go into that game and draw?
Now, if we go in the game with that mentality that we're looking for assistance from Man United, then we've already lost.
Yeah.
We need to go in there and do our job,
Yeah.
i.e., getting the win, or
Mhm.
worst case scenario, drawing, and then hoping. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like
Yeah.
what happens at Old Trafford? Because, like the saying goes, heaven help those who help themselves. So if we
Yeah, of
go
course.
to City grounds tomorrow and put in a good performance, then yeah, hopefully things might conspire in our favor. But if we go into the game thinking about United, then that's a wrong mentality. But I don't think that's the issue. The boys want the Champions League because
Yeah.
the Champions League is the bread and butter for
Yeah.
every top player. So you know what I mean? And we've been missing in action for a while. So I think the boys won the Champions League. So tomorrow they will give everything. I believe that. I believe that. And I think we will nick it. We will nick it. Because
Yeah.
we've been better than Nottingham Forest. They've been all right, but we've been better than them.
Yeah, but the only difference is that it looks like when we are picking up as a team, we don't see Nottingham Forest, and immediately we start slacking. Nottingham Forest, start doing well. I can't remember where Nottingham Forest is standing last year around August, September, October, November. I don't think I could heard about Nottingham Forest, but immediately we stop having that form, then we start and that's how Premier League is. When the expected top six clubs are not doing well, definitely some other clubs are going to come in and take the point. They're going to take the advantage, you know. And tomorrow, I think another good advantage that we've got tomorrow is McGill and Christopher Nkunku is back. But let's talk about these guys here. Do you think these guys could make a difference tomorrow? Do you want to see any of these guys in the starting lineup tomorrow?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Giyu. I wouldn't mind Giyu starting and then Nkunku coming from the bench because Nkunku could be a good impact substitute. 'Cause the reason why I would like Giyu to start, Giyu is a disruptor. He's got that Jackson factor that he can hold the line and then disrupt
Yeah.
the defense rhythm. So based on that, I would like that because if Nottingham Forest find consistency, then we're in trouble. But if we can disrupt them at the back, then we destabilize them from coming forward. Then we can capitalize.
But
So
yeah.
if I don't know what Maresca's thinking, I can't second guess him. But if between Nkunku and Giyu, if anybody is to start, my nod is for Giyu.
Yeah, but for me, like I said, to be honest with you, I'm not seeing both of these guys involving tomorrow. The reason why I've said this is like Gil is coming from a massive, massive injury that's taken him off for a long time. I don't see him starting that game at all, because
Very much
you
so.
know, yeah, we know how these things work. Player don't come just from injury and go straight into the lineup. They have to go through processes, which means you have to come from the bench. They have to look out for your performance, and so. But for Gil, he has been out for a long, long time. He needs that momentum back, and that game tomorrow is very, very crucial. I don't think I'm seeing him starting the game tomorrow. And for Nkunku, should have been a very good option for us tomorrow. But I'm so sorry. This guy is so lazy. He's a lazy ass, and we all know that. I mean, we don't want to find ourselves in a situation whereby we'll now start saying, "Oh, if we had known, we'd have kept him on the bench." I personally think there's a lot of things we can do around tomorrow. Forget about the strikers that are coming from injury. We've got a massive, massive attacking players out there that could do something else. You know what I mean? So, but before I go into that, I'm still coming to see what you've got for the lineup tomorrow. But like I said, I'm not seeing these two guys starting the game tomorrow. It's gonna be a very, very boring, press tomorrow if we gamble to start any of these guys. So that's what I particularly believe in.
No, I agree with you. It's just because you brought the subject, because I knew it'd be
Yeah,
premature to start any of them, considering, especially with you
yeah,
coming from that long term injury. But it's because you asked me between the two. That's what I said. But I wasn't expecting them to start anyway.
yeah,
Because let's not forget, young
yeah,
Tyreek George. He's been
yeah,
fantastic. So
yeah,
I think he might get a nod.
yeah.
Yeah, he might lead the line because in the past couple of games, in a crucial game against Man United, he led the line and he played very well. So I think they might continue with the same, momentum and then have Modweke and
Yeah, playing from the right wing.
Pedro on the
Yeah,
flanks.
yeah, and but if we let's quickly go into the lineup here because we've kind of been rolling around it now. So let's just talk about it. What sort of I mean XI are you expecting tomorrow from Maresca?
No, I expect him to keep the same players more or less against Man United. So it's going to be Sanchez, Reece James, Cucurella, and then Cowell and Chaloba are centre back, and then Caicedo are holding midfield, and then Enzo Fernandez and Lavia in the middle, and Madueke and Pedro on the flanks, Cole Palmer just behind the striker Tyreek George, and I think we're good to go.
Yeah, but the one thing that I still look like a very massive possibility tomorrow is starting Lavia as well. We've seen how we've played with Lavia this season. Is amazing. It's amazing. To be honest, tomorrow it's difficult to think about starting Reece James from the bench, especially his performance against United. But I'm still very much skeptical about how do we manage because all the attention right now we need to win that game. I don't know what we're gonna use tomorrow. I'm not really bothered, but we need to be strong tomorrow. First 10 minutes, if we can't score, we must not concede. We must not concede, and that's what I am really, really, scared about tomorrow because I am sure Nottingham Forest in the first 10 minutes they're gonna come all out there. They want the early goal, they want to lead the game as early as possible. So I'm thinking that why not going, full out there with a strong squad, having, I know we've got no much option from the goal lines, definitely Sanchez. Then the two, centre back, Chaloba, Koyo, Cucurella, and why not having Casado as a right back? That's been one of
I think
the
possibly he
strongest.
could go with that
Yeah.
and then Reece James come off the bench because
Yeah.
Lavia definitely will start that game tomorrow.
Yeah.
You
So
said because we need that midfield sorted out. Once that
yeah.
midfield gets broken down, if Forest run us over in the midfield, then we in for big trouble. So he will try to have Lavia on the pitch at all costs to stifle them, and
Yeah.
then we can, how do we call it, impose ourselves.
Yeah, so like, if we can have someone just comment and said, I think Sancho gonna start since Forest plays deep block. Yeah, I think so. That's what we're trying to say. Yeah, if we can have Casado playing at the right back, and from the midfield we can have Lavia, Enzo Fernandez, and Cole Palmer. From the flank, obviously we can have Sancho playing from the left flank, then Madueke from the right flank, then Pedro Neto can start from the striking role. We've seen him playing that way couple of games, really done well. But the
That's a possibility as well. If that happens, then obviously that means Tyreek George is going to be the casualty. That's a
yeah,
possibility as well. You could go with that. That,
yeah,
that
because
that's not a bad setup as well. But I would love to see Pedro on the flanks because he does so much damage on the flanks. I don't
that's
think
that's what
tomorrow's game
yeah,
we need an outlet for the striking role. So I think Tyreek George is there. So between Noni Madueke and Sancho, one of them has to start, one of them has to come off the bench. That
yeah,
would be my option. Because Pedro Neto, we can't stifle his prowess by playing him as a striker. We
yeah.
need him on the wings because he will be the one that will cause Nottingham Forest wing backs problems.
Nah, right. So because one thing I'm very much concerned about is I've seen Madueke playing from the right flank, and this guy is absolutely. Annie Slot had to say it that the only guy that is dribbling from the first minute to the last minute was Madueke. So if he can seize Madueke in that perspective, then this guy is doing a great job. It's been amazing. From the right flank. So I don't want to see a situation whereby we need to change him tomorrow. Keep him at the right flank, Pedro Neto from the left flank. But the problem is, I got a problem with Tariq George, to be honest. I so much believe in his talent. I know this guy has got a lot to offer, but he's still very young. We saw what happened against United. First half he was lost. He didn't understand what he's gonna do. I mean to say, like, it didn't understand how to go about the game. He
He
struggled.
almost got us a penalty. Remember the foul on him by Onana? That Onana
Yeah,
got away with.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
he
it
almost
was
got us
ruled.
that.
Yeah,
And don't forget his crucial goal against Fulham as well.
yeah, the crucial goal. I do remember as well. Yeah, I do remember. Yeah,
Everyone can be off color. It was the services. It wasn't coming in like you said. The role is a little bit alien to him, but he's doing very well. He's doing very well.
yeah.
We just it's just it's not ideal, but that's what we've got at the minute because we haven't got these strikers. I mean, Nkunku and Giyu coming from the injury, and Jackson being suspended. So what we've got is Tyreek Jog. He's done all right in the last couple of games in that role. So why not continue? I think he'll get the nod. If he doesn't, and he's going to accommodate both Sancho Madueke and Pedro Neto, then yeah, that's fine. But I wouldn't like Pedro Neto being wasted as a striker. We need his urgency on the flanks
Hmm.
because once Pedro Neto start, drifting and darting, that's when Cole Palmer as well start getting hot.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
Pedro Neto's absolute menace. I love him to pieces. He's one of my
Yeah,
favorite players
yeah.
because he gave that ball to Reece James against Man United. And when I was at the game at West Ham game, we were losing that game, and he just brought us from the dead. He had a terrific game. I hope I was lucky to have watched him from the Matthew Harden and
Wow.
yeah, so but
Yeah.
Pedro Neto is my guy, and I definitely want to see him tomorrow cause a lot of havoc on the flanks.
Yeah, like you said, this guy is one of those guys that makes your opponent defenders, makes them weak as soon as possible because it keeps frustrating them all the time. It keeps attacking them all the time. And at the end of the day, but the problem about Nottingham Forest tomorrow is they're gonna be playing as a low block, and that's the major problem that we've got. That's why we need the attacking player tomorrow to function very well. If not, we are in a very, very big trouble tomorrow. So
I Sorry, I don't think Nottingham Forest are going to be too defensive tomorrow because remember they need the points. If they draw, it's no good for them. We're leading them,
yeah, of course, yeah.
so they come in for the win, and they're playing at home with the crowd as well. So there won't be any issue of a low block. They're going to come at us. So if we are able to withhold all the attacks and then catch them on the counter and get a goal, we get the first goal. That's what all of a sudden they will have to throw caution to win. Then they'll open up more and we end up punishing them. So if we get first goal is very crucial.
That's
If
what I'm
Nottingham
saying. Yeah,
Forest gets the first goal, then they could add one or two. But if
yeah,
we get the first goal, I think it will change the momentum of the game and everything will be on our side. So I'm praying we get the first goal.
yeah. The same thing relating to why we must not concede tomorrow, and that's why I'm anticipating for. Let's see Jackson. Let's see Casado playing from the right back. This guy helps the defenders a lot. He helps the defenders a lot, and as well sometimes can help Lavia in the CDM as well. So tomorrow is gonna be another game that we need to be watchful. If we don't score that goal, don't concede that goal because that's what provoked me most this season. When you see us playing, we struggling to get a goal, and we gave goals out so cheap. And that's why we've been in trouble so many times this season. We concede and we get into trouble and start thinking of how to get back into the game. I think we've been able to, turn things around for the past 4 or 5 games. I don't really think we concede the first, but realistically tomorrow is another game that we need to watch out for. Don't concede if you don't score the goal.
Oh, very much so, because we know a win is crucial, and more importantly, a draw if we're going to lose. And I think yes, there's been lapses here and there, but I think tomorrow everybody will be on their game. The boys will be vigilant. Tomorrow they'll be very, very vigilant. I'm presume they've been working on that
Yeah,
during, because they've deemed their two cup finals, the Nottingham Forest game and then the European Cup final on Wednesday. So I expect the boys to give their best because they'll be fighting for their futures as well.
yeah, of course,
If
yeah.
yeah, there will be a review at the end of the season. So on all of them, obviously, won't be at Chelsea moving forward. So I think tomorrow they will give a better account of themselves. And Mr. Sanchez as well. I hope tomorrow there's no fluffing of his lines.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of the I mean the player to watch out for tomorrow because I am so much confident that he will be busy tomorrow. He will definitely be busy. It now depends on him on how he wants to make his shift works for him. I hope he had a good shift tomorrow and not that kind of a shift whereby he's gonna slump and gamble and make a lot of errors that will cost us a goal. So yeah, so let's just round this up because I don't want to take too much of your time. We've got about five players going into the England international. Chaloba, one of the headline, first call up for him. What do you think about Thomas Tuchel getting involved in bringing five Chelsea players and none of United players into the international break?
Yeah, I think it's not based on sentiments. It's based on form. Because per the Newcastle game, the Chelsea players, they've been the England ones. They've been excellent. So I think it's rightly deserved, and I'm pleased for them because things like that it boost up the club when you have players going on internationals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's good news for us, and I'm delighted for the boys. I think it's a well deserved call up for all of them, and especially pleased for Reece James because he is Captain Marvelous. You know
yeah,
when
absolutely.
he's
Yeah,
faced the best right back in the world, because
yeah, yeah.
that spin
No
on
doubt,
Ganacho, that
no
spin,
doubt
oh
about.
boy, that's the
Yeah,
highlights of the season.
yeah. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. And the fact that England was able to bring Thomas Tuchel in, and we know so much connections about Reece James and Tuchel in 2021. I think he values these guys a lot. He values this guy a lot. They brought him, a Champions League, and he knows what they give. He knows what they put. On ground, and I'm just so much happy. But there's something that I do realize. It looks like Thomas Tuchel still have a very, very massive connection with Chelsea, and I am still thinking, I'm still rooting that maybe in 2 3 years we're gonna have him back in Chelsea. I personally think this guy loves Chelsea so much. To be honest, he's it's just I don't know how to like express it, but I've got a feeling that this guy has a special place for Chelsea in his heart.
Oh yeah, he could be our personal Carlo Ancelotti. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
That's after if he wins something with England, and then yeah,
yeah,
there is that possibility definitely because he's somebody that the fans adore.
yeah,
And everyone was brokenhearted when he was giving the marching orders. You know what I mean? So now, obviously, he's moved on, but definitely there's that connection, and he knows these boys well. But he's picked them based on form, not based on sentiment. So yeah, it will be great if in future he can come back. And so yeah, nothing is certain in football.
yeah.
So
Of
I
course.
wouldn't write that off. I wouldn't write that off.
Right. Thank you very much, guys, for joining us on the match preview against Nottingham Forest tomorrow. Guys, don't forget to drop down your comments. What do you think about the game? What do you think we need to do better tomorrow to get a win? And yeah, I wish us best of luck tomorrow as we strive to go back into the Champions League. So thank you very much, Joseph. We'll see you on to the next one. Peace, guys.
Definitely up the Chelsea.
Up the Chelsea.
Wow.